Mrs. Hilma. She was trained at the Royal Academy of Fine Art in Stockholm, Sweden, where she was born. Her early experiences in natural science, from experiences on her grandfather's farm to lessons taught from her father, who was a naval mathematician who wrote textbooks, informed her works from her very early paintings that she made while she was at the academy to her much later modern works. During her early teenage years, she was prone to visions and participated in seances in order to contact, in an effort to contact her sister, who had died a few years before. At the academy, she formed a relationship with 4 other women who they formed a group called Midavaine, and they shared an occult belief system based on the teachings of Madame Blavatsky and Besant and Rudolf Steiner called theosophy. This really affected her methodology and the way that she created art. Moving from a desire to contact the dead to the higher purpose of spiritual evolution, Hilma believed she was the vessel through which higher beings, or what they called Hauga, would relay their spiritual messages. All of this occurred while they were in a meditative trance during defense seances. In 1905, she received a commission from de Hauga that caused her to put aside all of her previous work on landscapes and portraiture, which she was trained for. And she began a series called Paintings for the Temple, which she worked on from 1905 until 1915. And she created almost 200 works in that series. Automatic drawings, such as this one here, were made in defense seance sessions and became the basis of this particular series. For context, the use of automatic drawings predated the use of surrealist, extensive use of automatic drawings for their works by about 10 years. Paintings like Primordial Chaos on the left and the 10 Largest, which are here on the right, were actually classified as automatic paintings. They were done in a meditative trance, and they were done quickly and without any change. This is unusual, as is the monumental size of the group, the 10 Largest, which is over 10 feet tall. Each piece of her oeuvre is of over 1,000, is a complex combination of signs, symbols, letters, color, allegorical figures, geometric forms, which are all connected to theosophical symbolism. Theosophical symbolism, particularly the use of thought forms and Goethean color theory, was used by abstract artists such as Kandinsky in the early 19-teens. And of course, Hilma's use of them began in 1906. Single works are rare in her oeuvre. Hilma's paintings are meticulously arranged and numbered into a system of series and sub-series. This organization transmits what she considered to be a message vital to the spiritual health of humanity. This led her to 2 actions that resulted in her being consigned to obscurity. In her will, she stipulated that her collection was never to be divided or broken apart. This would have dissolved her carefully organized messages. She also stipulated that her works were not to be shown until 20 years after her death, which occurred in 1944. This small act resulted in rendering her work unknown until the 1986 exhibition of spiritual art at the LA County Museum of Art, in which she was first seen in conjunction with a number of other artists. The next exhibition of her work did not occur for another 18 years, and she has only been seen in the United States twice, once in 1986 and then again in 2005. The vast size of her collection is discouraging to museums, who may only want to buy a portion or a piece. So her work is kept in Järna, Sweden, at her archives, making reproductions the only way that most people can see her work. For brevity, I am going to try and interpret the iconography of one of her pieces. Generally, this is a bad idea, considering that the full meaning of her work can only be realized when looked at by interpreting the entire series. So this is the entire Adam series minus the first 4, which are not in reproductions anywhere. And I'm going to be concentrating on the one that is circled in red. That is the Adam series, number 7. So, based on theosophical tenets, which encompass Hilma's oeuvre, her paintings focus on 2 things: evolution of the soul to a higher state of spiritual being, and the duality inherent in humanity both sexually and emotionally. She believed in the need for equality and balance as a stabilizing agent. To see how these were expressed in number 7 of the Adam series, let's begin with the title of the overall series, the Adam series. So a little bit of science history. At this point in time, Wilhelm Röntgen has discovered the X-ray. Heinrich Hertz has proved the existence of electromagnetic waves, and Albert Einstein has written his theory of relativity. So these are all proofs of things unseen, something that nobody had ever seen before. This is also the time at which pseudoscience competed academically in the ring with what we consider to be these other traditional sciences. For example, John Dalton's theory of elemental atoms academically vied with theories from what was called ether physics. Lord Kelvin believed that an atom was just a vortex in the ether, so this is combating with what they had actually learned about atoms. The recent discovery of radioactivity further complicated the understanding of atoms. So Hilma's religious leaders weighed in on all sorts of questions of science. Madame Blavatsky, who's the founder of theosophy, weighed in on the evolution, Darwin's theory of evolution. She felt he was close, not quite on the mark, since he didn't include the evolution of the soul to a higher plane of being. Annie Besant, in her occult chemistry, felt that mechanical instrumentation that was used to see the atom was not accurate enough for detecting the true form or even all of the types of atoms. So she believed they can only be seen through direct perception by clairvoyance. She further identified an extra 4 states of matter on top of the 3 that we know actually exist, and then grouped those according to shape. According to Annie Besant, the atom at the most basic state of matter is called proto-elemental matter, which is seen here in the brackets in red. And that's important to note for what we're going to be talking about in number 7. And the most basic form or shape assigned to an atom is the cube that is seen down here. So let's see how this corresponds to Hilma's number 7. So it seems kind of obvious when we go back and forth that these 2 shapes right here are actually flattened representations of not only proto-elemental matter, but also her shape, the cube. It's also, because these are the most basic forms of atoms, that this means that this atom is at its most basic state, its most basic state of evolutionary form. It hasn't progressed. This is further enhanced by the inscription found at the top of the piece, which reads, "The atom has at once limits and the capacity to develop. When the atom expands on the ether plane, the physical part of the atom begins to develop." Moving from theosophical science to theosophical symbolism, in particular color theory, as a way to interpret this work. That's too complicated. Annie Besant refined Goethean color theory, which assigns emotional meaning to specific colors. Using Besant's variation as a guide provides further insight, especially in a piece where form is highly simplified. Color can now take center stage. Just as a note, all of the descriptors for these colors are directly quoted from Besant. They are not my own colorful adjectives assigned to describe that emotion. So, as we go forward, we can see that this painting is actually a lot more complicated symbolically than it may seem at first. So you begin with the giant blue square down at the bottom. That is a deep blue, and it's religious feeling tinged with fear or selfishness. Contained within that is a circle, which is mostly being taken up by red, which generally means brutal anger, which seems to be devouring or at least enveloping the white of purity. That circle is also encircled by a band of gray, which equals fear. And on top of that, the entire square is surrounded by green, which generally has a more positive connotation to it, adaptability, but when it's mingled with selfishness, as it is with the deep blue, it can denote deceit. When we move up to the square in the left, we have white of purity and black of malice. That can also indicate the ability to foresee the future. Black and white is one of Hilma's favorite colors to use to symbolize duality. So this can also be seen in the X that is transecting the square at the bottom. The color theory plays on her theme of duality as well as evolution. This atom is still in the grips of its baser nature. It has not evolved to a higher plane, equality is non-existent, and emotional balance is overtaken by rage, malice, deceit, and fear. As you can see, in the context of the series, the atom changes, it grows, the colors change, the openness of them change. This all plays into those themes of evolution and duality. I was first drawn to Hilma's work because of his orderliness and seeming simplicity. I was amazed at how wrong I was with this first impression, especially regarding its simplicity. She turned out to be far more complex than I imagined based on the few pieces of work I was initially able to observe. The preservation of her entire oeuvre owes itself to her stipulation that it remain hidden and intact. It is my hope that the collection can be properly conserved and that her 26,000 pages of journal entries can be digitized and translated so interpretation of her work can be done in a more accurate and meticulous manner. Thank you.